So let's start with Adam.
Hello, everyone. I am Adam. I might look realistic, but actually, I'm a video avatar generated by AI power. My role here is to share the messages Joanna and Paulina have for you. So, Joanna dreams of being a superhero developer that creates software that is accessible for everyone, and that responds to the business and users' needs. Paulina dreams about a world where ethically used technology is integral to our daily life, the world where we can trust machines and their constructors. Ladies, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Adam. So, I'm Paulina, this is Joanna. We come from Roche. Roche is a pharmaceutical company, and our commitment is really to improve also patients' outcomes. So we both work in the innovation space area to actually make it happen and to somehow influence our organization and also society in this area. But if we think about improving an outcomes, it's really about understanding what are the healthcare challenges we are facing now. So I'm going to bring you a few numbers, but after COVID-19 pandemic, we are already kind of aware how underfinanced the healthcare systems are. But with the numbers, so first of all, WHO, so World Healthcare Organization, is reporting that by 2050, the population of the people over the 60 years will double and will reach 20% already. So it's really a huge amount of people. Additionally, furthermore, 80% of those population will be living in low and middle income countries. So in these countries, already the access to the basic healthcare is already very limited. But if you think it's only about low and middle income countries, it's actually not. So actually I did some analysis on the Eurostat, which is the European database, European Union database. And there, in over half of the European countries, we see that 20% of the patients are having problems with accessing the healthcare services due to the long queues, which is really a big number. And in some countries, it even goes up to 35%. And last but not least, WHO estimates a projected shortfall of 15 million of health workers by 2030. Again, in low and middle income countries, but we already know that this problem is really everywhere. So if you think about all those challenges, actually it seems that there are lots of improvement possible, and this is really a great area of the automation. So in our daily work, when we really have lots of innovation thought, we thought, okay, let's hire a chatbot. Can chatbot resolve some challenges we have there? So what we knew setting our experiment, because as I said, we do lots of experimentation, so we knew that the chatbot had to have information patients are searching for. Additionally, the bot should have the personality which we are expecting from the interaction with the healthcare professionals. And last but not least, of course, the conversation should be more human-like, which sounds already super easy to be achieved. So we thought, why not to complicate it even more? So we were really trying to find additional features which really kind of allowed to build some connection between the person, the human person, and the machine. So what we did, we actually started a desk research. So we really wanted to understand what is available from the literature, some articles around how we can actually build a connection between the human and the machine. And what it reveals, that actually one of the most powerful is the virtual embodiment, so the appearance of the bot, of the machine, and actually the bot here as well. The additional feature is the voice, and actually it's a modulation of its tone. And last but not least, actually that the bot can really respond for how the user acts, so really searching for the response. And after this research, we were really thinking, what is possible? So is the technology ready for that? What type of the technology components are available? And with that, I'm sharing to Joanna, which share with you more on that.
Thank you, Paulina. So as you could see at the beginning, one of the coolest things about digital humans is how they look like. We could see every pore, every wrinkle, note, smile, gesture, everything. But we have to have that, because reality is all about the detail. And without it, we'll just miss it. But maybe digital humans are not superhumans yet, but they are definitely much more than just a chatbot with the face. And that's for several reasons. So digital humans are a combination of several advanced techniques that are coming from the most prominent AI disciplines: natural language generation and understanding, computer-generated imagery, video and sound processing, sentiment and emotion analysis, natural language generation, and of course machine learning on top of this. And if you will think which of these components are needed to build an emotional connection, the answer is simple. Well, all of them. So starting from the computer-generated imagery, we really need to make sure that the avatar will mimic properly. So it won't laugh at us once we will cry. Building a digital avatar is not an easy task, but it's achievable. But even if we will try to use some already available frameworks, then we can steer the emotions, improve the behavior. So we can just provide the emotions that will correlate with particular training phrases, or we can just provide the detailed timing when the particular emotions will be triggered. Though it's tricky because we need to be careful with the timing, with the connection, with everything. But still, in general, we can have an impact on a mimicry and the gesture of the digital avatar. But not only the digital avatar should understand our emotions. Still, we need to make it more dynamic, and that's kind of the challenge that we don't know the answer yet. But even having this knowledge, we also need to understand the emotions that are coming from the user, because we won't be able to make a full connection, two-way interaction, without understanding the human input. And if we are thinking about emotions in the context of human and digital-human connection, we can distinguish three different channels from which we can get the emotion. First of all, it's facial recognition. Second, voice tonality. And the third is, of course, text sentiment. As if we can see in the example about the emotions, so what we can see here, like most of the emotions are rather positive. And that's actually for a reason, because we don't want the avatar to exactly mirror our behavior. So if user is more like sad or angry, we don't want the avatar to behave exactly the same. We rather want it to behave empathetically, calmly, and showing some understanding. So once we are reading the emotions from the facial, we can have quite a good results. So here is the example that are coming from some major services about facial recognition. And I would say it works quite good on me. And it's not only because it says that I'm 21. But it can also read some emotions. And unlike the emotions that were used to trigger the avatar, here you can see that we have only happiness as a positive emotion, and the others are like more non-positive. And that's also for a reason. So according to our research, answering to those more like to the emotions that are more like trouble or like angry, not that much positive, is more important, because this will help us to engage user in the conversation. This will help us to react properly if user is discouraged, if user wants to close the conversation. So those are the things that are kind of the important for us. And so the results are quite good, and we can see it. But there are still a couple of challenges. So it perfectly with the image processing, with the pre-recorded videos. But if you will try to analyze the emotions in real time from the streaming video, well, it's not that perfect anymore. Because either we need to do it asynchronously with some proper framing, or we will have some delays, which will impact quite a lot of the user experience in this case. Also, I think we all heard the stories about some biases. So we really need to be careful to avoid the systems that will be judging the user. And also, to be honest, actually IBM already gave up in the race of the emotion recognition from the video a couple of years ago, as they think that there are no biases to overcome them yet. But besides of the video analysis, one of the greatest channel to analyze the emotion is voice. So voice has the biggest power, as voice is the thing that we as humans struggle the most to control. And I bet you can hear the stress in my voice right now. Though, we can still read quite a lot of the emotions, but with the power comes the complexity also. So voice processing is not the easiest one. It's the complex. We really need to have a lot of the internal knowledge. And in context of digital humans, we also need to remember that quality of the recording devices, proximity to the recording device, and also quality of the connection, it will impact the understanding. So, the huge power, but on the other hand, the hardest to process. So, we've already spoke about voice and video emotion analysis, but there is also text. And text is the easiest channel to process, but also the one that we can control the most. So, before we will say something, we usually have a time to think about it. We can rephrase the words, we can put it in a different way. We still can have some of the high accuracy in this, and also we can read sentiments, emotions, or even both. We can have some opinion mining to correlate the sentiment with the particular subject, and we also have some customers' engagement tone. And that's all that we have from text. But having those three channels, we really need to think how to combine them to get the proper sentiment at the end. Because the answers might correlate, but they will not always correlate. So to have the full understanding of the human, we really need to start with processing the intention of the user, and at the same time, we can process the emotions that are presented along with the messages. And we can do it like with the three channels, voice, video, and text at the same time, but then if the emotions will not align together, we need to weight them properly to make sure that we'll return the proper answer to the user. And there is no single rule how to do it, but we already know that the voice has the greatest power and the text is the easiest one, and the one that we can control the most. So we can use it as our guides. But not only machines should understand humans. It should also work the other direction. So emotion recognition and generation is really great, but natural language understanding is still one of the most important factors when it comes to the conversational interfaces. And of course, we can define some answers, we can have the pre-recorded set of the answers, and we will fetch the particular answer to our intention. But then it's more static, and you can feel it, so we are not building this full connection. And here come with the help natural language generation engines. And they are quite mushrooming on the market recently, and I think we already could have quite a lot of them yesterday. But still, one of the most common one is GPT-3. So it's an engine that is even able to generate articles based on the text prompt, and it's supposed to answer questions. But does it really work the way we would like it to work? Just let's see. Okay, so as we can see, the results might differ. So it still looks like really impressive. It provides us with the consistent performance. It provides us with the human-like conversation. It can answer any question, but it's not that much reliable with the answer. It can be also not predictable, biased, and does not necessarily have the up-to-date knowledge. And I think Joe Biden might argue a little bit whether Donald Trump is the current president of the US. So I think such engines, they're already great, but they're not yet there to provide the reliable and trustable solution, especially in the healthcare area, where what we will provide to the patient or to the healthcare professional, it's kind of important for us. So just to sum it up, I don't think there is a perfect solution already available to build a fully emotional responsiveness digital human. There are still a lot of the challenges. They are related to the time processing. So if we will slow down the response, then we are building non-user-friendly solution with the bad user experience. And also with this answer generation, we still need to do it manually and review each answer. Though, I think we can already use them, and we can already use some emotion processing to create some feedback loop for us. So we still can get a quite high accuracy recognizing emotions. So even if we will not use it to provide this emotional connection at real time, we can use it to get the feedback, to get the user attitude, and to improve our solution. And of course, if we will combine them together, we can have even the higher accuracy. And one more remark, so we do not have a unified way of emotion detection. So still, how we will combine those sources of our emotions, we do not know it yet. It's more like a psychological topic.
And just to end, what is next? We don't know. We are going to observe it, hopefully influence it, but there are also additional topics on top of the technology readiness. This is definitely the ethical use, especially if we think about using the empathy and really tracking emotions and doing it back. Additionally, there is this uncanny valley phenomenon, which really said that if something is too humanistic or too human-like, this becomes too creepy to us actually to interact with. So there is a lot of room for improvement here. But also tapping on the challenges which we already brought to your attention today, there is definitely a space for those type of automation and really bringing the digital human to space of the healthcare, because really the need is enormous and they really can help to resolve those challenges. So with that, we want to thank you on behalf of myself, Joanna, and also our colleague Małgorzata, who was the main contributor to our desk research to this topic. And
Hey, ladies, what about me? I feel a bit overshadowed by such a great pair of presenters.
of course, Adam. Thank you.
Thank you.